Like Zach throwing great against our cornerbacks to the receivers in our practices, and then Zach having a bad series against the Eagles, and then Flacco having a good – none of it means – you can't say that when bad things happen, it means something, and when good things happen, it doesn't mean anything. The fact is we exaggerate both, right? But the Breece Hall, it's not even the 70-yard run. Look at the run. Like you could – and then with Zach, with a lot of his practices, it's not practice or a real game. Or like it's – forget about the results. Look at the throws. Look at the calmness. Look at the decision-making. He had a horrible series against the Eagles. I get it. The best quarterbacks in the world have horrible series. I could show you a game, a whole game of Mahomes looking horrible. I could show you a play from Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl, which was horrendous, like the worst decision possible, and that's a Pro Bowl quarterback. So to see Zach Wilson make a bad play against the Eagles does not mean he's a bust. And also when he makes a great play like against Tennessee last year, it doesn't mean that he's going to be a superstar. He's a question mark. They're all question marks. But we could still be excited. We could still be excited when they do great things. We're fans. That's what being a fan is. When they do good things, we're allowed to dream. We're allowed to dream of the potential. Like, wow, what if this guy does this every day in a game? What if he keeps developing? What if he becomes a superstar? What if all these guys work out? That's the point of being a fan. If we're not allowed to do that, then what's the point? If we're, you know what I mean? It's like, of course, we shouldn't sit there and make it a proclamation. The Jets are going to win a Super Bowl in 3 years. We're the best team. These guys are the best players. They're all amazing. Like, we shouldn't do that. But we also shouldn't sit there and say, oh, Zach Wilson had a tough rookie year. He's bad. Because if you know anything about football, if you've ever watched football in your life, you know that you can't judge a quarterback by their rookie year. You can't. There's so many quarterbacks that have had success after having a horrible rookie year. It doesn't make any sense to sit there and say that you don't know. Just like I don't know he's going to be great. You don't know he's a bust. You don't. And if you think you do, that makes you less credible. Because just by saying you know is ridiculous. Nobody knows. And Zach wasn't awful before the injury. That's a lie. He had a bad series against the Eagles. The 3 practices before against our secondary, he was on fire. Ask people who were there. He was throwing bullets into people's chests. He came in overhyped, and he had a bad drive. You don't know he wouldn't have settled down. He was starting to look okay in the second drive. He just needed to settle down. It was one drive. How can you base or judge a quarterback on one drive in preseason? It's absolutely crazy. Just like I'm not going to sit here and say we know for a fact Breece Hall is going to be an all-pro running back. I feel like he could be. I'm excited about it. But obviously I can't say that he is. So it's like stop overthinking it. It's preseason. It's preseason. It was one play in preseason. He didn't like you're going to forget that he had completed passes. He wasn't 1 for 5. It wasn't 0 for 5. He had some good passes. He had one where he tried to drop it in. It's better than taking a sack. He listened to what we said. Get rid of the ball. There was nowhere to get rid of it. And he overthrew the guy because he was trying to throw it where a receiver couldn't get it, but left a chance. And then he had a brain fart play. And if he comes out in the regular season and he has those kind of brain fart plays, then you're right. We should be really concerned if he hasn't learned from last year. But a preseason game, one drive, we're going to start judging him. Let's look at the last 6 games he played last year in the regular season. How much better he was. And I'm not saying he was a stud. He's a rookie, and he showed improvement. That's what you're supposed to see. And I'm tired of comparing him to Josh Allen and look at the talking about Peyton Manning his first year. It doesn't matter. It's football. It's the NFL. Rookie quarterbacks used to sit for a year or two before they played because it's the hardest position to learn. The guy is 22, 23 years old. We're going to judge him? Just give him time. If you can't see the talent, you never watched football before. You don't know anything about football. If you can't see the arm talent, if you can't see a guy off balance throwing the ball 40 yards across his body and know that's a spectacular thing, then you've never played football. Try doing it. Run a direction and throw the ball the other direction. Jump up in the air and throw it. See how far you can throw it. The guy, it's amazing. It's an amazing talent. And he could be a bust. Even though he has that amazing talent, he could be a complete bust. He's never going to be able to read defenses. That's very possible. Very possible. I've seen incredibly talented quarterbacks do nothing in their career because it doesn't matter how good talented you are sometimes. If you don't have the ability to read the defense, if you're not able to process fast enough, but we are way too soon to be having that conversation about Zach Wilson. Way too soon. It's a ridiculous conversation to have at this point of his career. He is just getting started. So let's just not panic. If you're a Jets fan, you should be rooting for Zach Wilson to get better. If you're not, if you're saying, I want him to fail because I was against him and we should have kept Sam or we should have picked somebody else or Justin Fields, you can't say you're a Jets fan. Like, you could be concerned. You could sit there and say, I don't know if that was the right pick. I think they made a mistake. I don't know if I believe in him. I don't know if he's going to be great. You could say all those things. If you are rooting against Zach Wilson, if you are not hoping when he comes in that he lights it up, then you're not a Jets fan. You're not. How could you be? How could there be such thing as a fan of a team that roots for their players to do bad? There are Jets that I have not liked. I never liked Sam Darnold. I never liked him. Not as a person. He's a great kid. But I hoped every day he'd be great. I was hoping he was the answer. Never was in love with the pick. Was praying he was the answer. And would have been the happiest guy alive and thrilled that I was wrong for doubting him. Thrilled. Happiest guy alive that I was wrong. I mean, that's how I feel about any Jet that I'm not sure about. Now, these young guys, I'm pretty happy and excited about them. But I kind of think like Max Mitchell might be just a guy, a Jag, a backup guy. And I disagree with Tigo. I don't see that he's going to be this starting great tackle ever or ever be great. Maybe he'll be like functional. I hope I'm wrong, though. I want to be wrong. I want to be so wrong. I want him to be an all-pro, and I want all of you to never let me forget it. Of course that's what I want because I'm a Jets fan. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is win. That's all I want is to win at all costs. And it doesn't mean I can't, even if I doubt a guy, it doesn't mean he won't be my favorite player for proving me wrong. As a matter of fact, the way emotions work, it makes sense. I doubted this guy, and he won me over, and now I love him more than any player in the world because he won me over. But so I'm not saying don't be I'm not saying don't have the opinion that Zach stinks. Like, if you think Zach stinks and you think that he's terrible, he looked terrible because he is terrible, that's fine. But please tell me you're rooting for him and hoping you're wrong. Please say, hey, I hope I'm wrong. And I'm not accusing anyone here of anything and saying that you don't. I'm saying is sometimes you have a conversation where someone will come in and constantly bash somebody and never say they hope they're wrong. And it makes you start to question. It makes you start to question, is this really a Jets fan that I'm talking to? Because how could you be a Jets fan if you're not hoping you're wrong? I hope every time I was down on a Jet, like Wesco, right? I don't believe in Wesco. I think he's a waste. I think he needs to go. I don't think there's anything redeeming about him at all. Man, if he proved me wrong. If Wesco went off this year, if he got snaps and did great things, I'm so happy to be wrong. So I'd be thrilled to be wrong because I'm a Jets fan. This is just wrong. No one's sugarcoating anything. Being a fan is being hopeful. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion and be like that, Jacob. It doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like you're having a good time. Like, what's the point? I don't know about you, but this is a game. It's a recreation. It's an escape in my life. I don't want to, my escape in my life is not going to be, that's not good enough. Until they win, it means nothing to me. I'm not going to be excited. Who are you helping? Being excited about something is what makes it worth it. What if they don't win? Then you get no pleasure. At least, maybe I get disappointed, but at least I get to have fun rooting for my team. At least I get to have hope and be excited and have fun. And then if they lose, they lose. But you can't take away the fact that I had fun. But if you're going to be just down and miserable, and then they lose and you're miserable, then why watch football? Why not find another team that's going to win for you? Because it's, you know what? As much as I want to win, it's not all about winning. Part of it is the journey. Part of it is the fight to get there. That's part of it. If you can't appreciate that, if you can't be hopeful, what's the point? What's the point? You're going to wait till they win a Super Bowl before you believe they're good? That's so silly. Do you know how much you're missing out on? You can't look at what this team was in 2019 and look at it now and know there's a difference. Like, I mean, really, wake up. Wake up. In 2019, look at the roster. What was there? What was there? And I'm not saying this to be mean to you or start a fight. I'm trying to wake you up. Because if you can't enjoy this, what's the point? You're missing out. It's sad. No one's sugarcoating anything. Zach looked horrible. Fine. It's okay if he looked horrible. You don't think any successful quarterback has looked horrible when they were 22 years old? He threw an interception in a preseason game. Are you kidding me? Do you know anything about football? I mean, it is what it is. Guess what? He's going to have ugly interceptions in his career, in real games too. He's going to. Dan Marino did. Joe Montana did. Steve Young did. Peyton Manning did. Average quarterbacks did. Joe Flacco was better than average, maybe. Matt Ryan. Name any quarterback that's played in this league, Phil Simms, for any extended amount of time, whether they were good, average, whatever. And tell me that they didn't have a bad throw or bad interceptions or games where they looked horrible. There was a game where Adam Rodgers looked like crap against us. We lost like 9-3 or 9-0 or some crazy game where he looked horrible. And it was Aaron Rodgers, and we were the horrible Jets when this happened. So you're going to tell me you're going to judge him by one series in a preseason game, and you're going to throw out everything that happened last year? He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady with a backup offensive line and no wide receivers. You're just going to ignore that? Did he throw an interception? No. He kept us in the game. He managed the game and did everything we could ask him to do with no players on a team that was bad anyway. 3 offensive linemen were down. 1, 2, 3, top 3 receivers out. No offensive line, no receivers. Michael Carter out. Anything we had was gone. Playing against Tampa Bay, who had a reason to win that game. And the only reason we lost was a miscommunication, a bad play call, where they sent in a play that was an option to do 2 different things, and the rookie did the wrong thing. But the option to do that should have never been, and our offensive coordinator took accountability for that, and our head coach took accountability. You take away that one play, or if we could make a defensive play at the end of the game and not let Tom Brady act like he was playing against Little League, we beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. He played good enough to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks with backup players. But you're going to ignore that and say, but he threw an interception in a preseason game. Give me a break. I'm sugarcoating it? No. Maybe you need to rethink what fandom is. Maybe you need to rethink it. I'm not saying you shouldn't doubt Zach Wilson if that's what you want to do. But to sit there and get upset because some of us want to be excited about our team? Are you serious right now? Because you define being a fan as being miserable? Because you want to take your life and then take the best part of it? Something that you love, watching football and being a fan of a team, and ruin that too? Why? Why? And I get mad at it because I'm sick of people trying to drag me down and ruin what I love. Damn straight, when you come here, if you want to watch me, you want to call it sugarcoating, fine. But I'm going to come here, and I'm going to be passionate about my team, and I'm going to be excited about my team. Because, again, if you can't look at this roster and compare it to what was 2 years ago and see the difference, you know nothing, and you will never understand football.